This is the 7th video in the Great Spiritual Awakening series. Today we're going to talk about the appearance of the spirit and what that means in the big picture. This video has 3 parts. First, we'll learn about spiritual bodies and why they don't make sense. Second, we'll learn the truth about spirits. And third, we'll learn what it means to be spirits that are the same as one another. Now let's begin. Part 1. In previous videos, we looked at evidence of reincarnation. Reincarnation is the idea that the spirit survives death and experiences a new life. If the spirit was created by natural means, then reincarnation cannot occur. The fetus wouldn't need a spirit because it created the spirit by natural means. However, if the spirit cannot be created at all, then reincarnation would be necessary because the fetus would need the spirit. The spirit, also known as consciousness, is an essential part of animals with nervous systems. We can think of reincarnation as supply and demand. The spirit of the dead person is the supply, and the fetus needs the spirit. They have the demand. Many people ask the question, what does the spirit look like? Some people believe that when a person dies, the person becomes a spiritual body. According to some people, the spiritual body looks identical to how they looked when they were alive. The spiritual body is made of spiritual matter, and some claim that spiritual bodies can see people who are alive, but the living people cannot see the spiritual bodies. Spiritual bodies cannot touch and move things that are made of matter. For example, the spiritual body cannot lift cups, they cannot push living people, and they cannot hold a basketball. The basketball would travel through the spiritual body. But the question is, do spiritual bodies exist? I don't believe they do. Here's why. Let's say that you died and became a spiritual body. Now what do you do? Well, you may go to a concert and listen to music for free. You may go to a movie theater to watch movies for free. You may go to houses of rich and famous people to see what they're doing. And you may go to Area 51 to see if there's evidence of aliens. There would be many interesting things for you to do. If you could explore the world as a spiritual body, then you wouldn't have the urge to experience reincarnation right away, and you may not have the urge to experience reincarnation at all. But here's the problem. If spirits chose not to experience reincarnation for a long time, then the human population would quickly decline and go extinct. Pregnant mothers need the ingredient called the spirit to make babies, but all the spirits want to remain in their spiritual bodies and they want to explore the world for hundreds of years. We have demand, but we don't have any supply, which means mothers cannot make babies. But the reality is, mothers are making babies, and the human population is quickly multiplying. This indicates that spiritual bodies don't exist. Another thing that some spiritual teachers say is that there are other universes, and when we die, we can travel to the other universes and hang out with aliens that have spiritual bodies. But this idea doesn't make any sense. If human spirits traveled to other universes to hang out with dead aliens, then the human spirits would have little to no desire to experience reincarnation, which would mean that mothers wouldn't have the necessary ingredient to make babies. Therefore, humans would go extinct. However, the reality is humans are multiplying, which is why the idea doesn't make any sense. Now think about animals. If a pig became a spiritual body when it died, it would have no desire to reincarnate as a pig again. Most pigs are forced to live in cages their entire lives. Who would want to reincarnate as a pig in a cage? No one would. Therefore, pigs wouldn't be able to make any babies. But the reality is, pigs make countless babies. This indicates that spiritual bodies are not real. Part 2. If spiritual bodies don't exist, then what does it mean to be a spirit? Don't think of the spirit as a material object. The spirit isn't made of matter, not even spiritual matter, and it doesn't exist in space and time. Because the spirit isn't made of particles, the spirit is colorless and formless. This means you cannot see, smell, taste, feel, and hear the spirit. And because the spirit exists outside of space and time, it has no nationality and it has no gender. This means every spirit is the same as every other spirit. The spirit of a black man is the same as the spirit of a white man. The spirit of a lion is the same as the spirit of a zebra. The spirit of a wealthy person is the same as the spirit of a poor person, and the spirit of a bird is the same as the spirit of a worm. In my opinion, the most beautiful thing about us is that we are all the same on the inside. No spirit is greater than any other spirit, and no spirit is lesser than any other spirit. Now here's the important question. If every spirit is the same as every other spirit, then why was one spirit born as a poor person while another spirit was born as a wealthy person? If we're all the same on the inside, then why are we all experiencing different lives as one another? Part 3. Imagine that you have triplet daughters. All 3 of your daughters look the same and act the same. They are equally smart, equally kind, and equally wise, and you love them equally. One day, you decide that you're going to give your daughters some money, but you only have $30. Here's the question. How much money would you give each of your daughters? Option A. You give $30 to one daughter and the 2 other daughters get nothing. Option B. You give $15 to 2 daughters and you give the 3rd daughter nothing. Or option C. You give each of your daughters $10. Which option makes the most sense? The only answer that makes any sense is to give them each $10. They are all equal and you love them equally. Therefore, they should get an amount that is equal to one another. Similarly, we are all equal on the inside. Therefore, the only thing that makes sense is that we experience the same lives as one another. It doesn't make sense to have one spirit born as a poor person while another spirit is born as a wealthy person, unless there is a future where they both exchange lives with one another. That's the only way to make sense of spirits that are all the same as one another. There is a way that this is possible. A time loop is when time moves toward the past because the past and future are connected to one another. You may have seen TikTok videos and YouTube shorts that repeat over and over. This is essentially what a time loop is. The end is connected to the beginning, which means the past and future are the same thing. If time is moving in a loop, then history will repeat forever. Albert Einstein existed in the past, which means Albert Einstein will exist in the future. Everything that existed and occurred in the past will exist and occur in the future. Now here's the interesting thing. Reincarnation will go on forever, but reincarnation means that the end of one journey is connected to the beginning of a new journey. Therefore, you will experience a different series of lives in the next cycle of time. You may experience the life of your best friend in the next cycle of time, or you may experience the life of your worst enemy in the next cycle of time. Because time moves in a loop forever, you will exchange lives with everyone, and because the past and future are connected to one another, you have already exchanged lives with everyone. In summary, we learn that spiritual bodies go against the idea of reincarnation, and because there is strong evidence of reincarnation, it's very unlikely that spiritual bodies exist. But this doesn't mean that spirits don't exist. The spirit exists outside of space and time, which means it has no appearance. Therefore, every spirit is the same as every other spirit. If we are all the same on the inside, then we should all be able to experience the same lives as one another. This is possible through a time loop. I made a 20-minute video explaining the time loop in the 6th video of the Great Spiritual Awakening series. If you're serious about gaining a deeper knowledge of yourself, then be sure to check out that video. Hey guys, if you're looking for a thought-provoking spiritual book, check out The Great Spiritual Awakening. The link is in the description. And in the next video, we will learn about how reincarnation works. Click on the thumbnail to watch the video. And last but not least, have an amazing, wonderful day.